Folks, Lester here, and I hate to start the live out on such a serious note, but I actually pinned a comment here from Black Diamond who says that she's concerned about the ant problems. And anyone who's been watching the channel for a while, I would say for at least the last month or so, know that we have, once again, a major problem here at Longhorn Lester's. I'm going to show you my most recent efforts to combat the problem. And I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now. Now, we have a light drizzle behind me, and I don't know what that sound is. So let me show you what we're doing to combat our ant problem. Yeah, so that was at least one attempt to help get a grip on all of the ants here at the Longhorn Lester property. They are taking over our yard. They are eating the leaves off of our trees. They're taking grain out and away from our big birds. So we're in fight mode. We are in fight mode. And I will say that my first attempt was unsuccessful. I didn't know those ants could hold on for dear life as long as they did. So we'll have to go to, we'll find another way. But you can see more of that video this afternoon on YouTube first. It'll be on the I'm a Survivor Sanctuary channel. I'm uploading it to play on YouTube now. It'll not play till 4 o'clock this afternoon. And then it'll be on Facebook tomorrow morning, first thing on the I'm a Survivor Sanctuary channel. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. It's nice to see everybody. And we do have a ant problem here. From what we understand, those ants are able to go underground and make just an extensive mound, or that's not a mound, that's some kind of underground labyrinth. And the reason that we know that is because there was an experiment done on the exact same kind of ant, the leaf eater ants, I think they call them. And what they did was they ran a very fine liquid cement down into, they just lowered the hose and they filled the entire cavity with cement. And they let it dry. And here's the craziest thing is it took tons of cement before the mound finally capped off, before the cement finally got to the top. And so the scientists were just baffled. They had no idea what they were getting themselves into. And so once they finally got the cement to dry, they began to do some excavating, like an archaeologist may excavate. And during their excavations, removing all the sand, what was left under there were all of the tunnels and the dormitories and the kitchen facilities and the nursery. I'm not making this up. y'all. I'm not making this up. There's an entire world underground happening right down there, and no one knows no one can figure out why. No one can figure out why. But we do have a major problem. Okay, so I don't know if it's the same lady or multiple people who are saying that the internet's not working. So what I'm going to do is go to my internet, and I have full bars, the entire signal. You cannot get any better than I got right now. So that might be on your end. But what you don't have to do is take over and spam the comments telling me or screaming at me that it's frozen, because there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. Sorry, but it's very annoying. I know you want to watch a video and it's freezing on you, and I get it, but I don't know if it's the same lady or multiple people, but I keep seeing it in all bold, and I'm trying hard not to look. But what I'm seeing now is everyone saying their internet's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So if you are in fact freezing, then what you can do, and I say this all the time, this is true on every channel that you watch. If you're freezing, then it might could be a Facebook issue. It could be a Lester issue. It could be a you issue. So what you might could do is go out, just X out, and then come back in. Or you can go out later. You can go out now and then come back in later. And what YouTube and Facebook will normally do is they will, if it's something on them or something on my end, they will adjust. They will adjust for that and try to get rid of all of the little moments of the lagging whatnot. Someone else says, shut down your device and restart your device. I call this housekeeping. I'm not upset. I know that some people are like, just Lester, move on. Hold on a minute, y'all. Let's not have that kind of a live. Let's just talk for a moment. And when I used to teach school, sometimes every morning you start off and you'll greet your students. You know, you have to greet your kiddos. You shake their hand when they come in, give them a high five, a handshake, whatever you do. And then once they all get settled, you go over housekeeping. And so housekeeping is important. Housekeeping is important. So I think that housekeeping could be reminding people that we are live. I'm doing the best that I can on my end. I cannot control the wind or the rain or the sun glare. I can do what I can, but ultimately all I can take is the whole thing inside. And I wanted to be outside with you all. I wanted to be outside. I actually have a table full of packages that I'd gotten from the sanctuary. And my friends, we discovered something, and I feel horrible about this. These were all discovered at the sanctuary underneath a tote that we keep there for our packages. I went by and I was noticing that some of the stamps on here are back from October and November and December. So there's a stack of about 4 or 5 letters. And I'm so sorry that those, I never found them. I never discovered them until we were over cleaning up the sanctuary porch. And I found these letters that had been there for so very long. So if it's okay, I'm going to open a few of those later as well. All right, so let's go ahead and look at that ant video one more time for everyone who's just getting in and they missed it. I know you can't go back and watch it during the live, so I'll play it one more time, then we'll talk about it, okay? We'll just talk about it. Yeah, so that first attempt was probably not my brightest idea, but I tried. And as I was watching the video, I was also reading comments, and it appears as though it might be a Facebook issue. Friends, I have no control over Facebook, none whatsoever. Anyway, if you don't, yeah, I thought that the birds would eat those ants because, in fact, birds do eat spiders, all kinds of insects. But Tina did not seem to enjoy them whatsoever. She tasted one, spit it out. She tasted another, spit it out. And so ants are not going to be her thing. Okay. You need to get an anteater, says Shelly. Yeah. Is that like an armadillo or an actual anteater? I don't think that those live around here. We do have armadillos in Texas. I don't know if anteaters live around here. I don't even know what the real name of an anteater. An aardvark, right? An aardvark is an anteater. So Sherry says, I'm watching on Facebook and it's working fine for me. So let's just not keep harping on that, y'all. Let's just not keep harping on internet issues that I can't control. Everyone knows that Facebook did go down a week or two ago, if you all remember that. And we managed that fine. We've had internet issues across the country and across the world with Facebook. Everyone knows that. And so I don't know, but we're not going to focus on all of that today. Okay. We are here for lunch with Longhorn Lester. Thank you all for joining me here at noon on Friday, where I like to come and I use the StreamYard app where I can pull all of the pages together. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, and, in saying so, it does make the comments move by pretty fast when I have all four channels or all four channels. It's the two platforms, Facebook and YouTube, and then two channels, Longhorn Lester's and I'm a Survivor Sanctuary, which are both my channels on each platform. So that brings four channels all together. Anywho, someone says you should get some chickens. Ooh, some chickens. No, we ain't doing the chicken thing. Don't think it hasn't been suggested. Do not think it has not been suggested. Anyway, oh my gosh, guys. Okay. Turn up your volume. I'm just going to ignore everything. I am so sorry. I really do want you all to enjoy your experience, and I want to have some fun with you all today, but I just cannot. I just can't, y'all. All right, let's get to opening a couple of packages. We're going to talk a whole lot about stuff today. We got a lot to talk about, but I want to get these opened up. There comes Jamie there, and she was not upset about her vacuum. Of course, she's not had to clean it out yet, though. Here we go. So this comes to Longhorn Lester from, I think it says Lindley Smith. Okay. And we will find out what this is. You know what I should do is open some of these letters first. Oh, well, this is very nice. So this is a tripod. And everyone knows that, hold on. Tripods are the ideal way to shoot your video, because if you can use your tripod, you don't have to try to, well, number one, you have access to both of your hands again. You're not trying to sit there and, well, when you get the shakes like I do, that makes it very complicated. But I appreciate this. It's very kind of you. I'm not going to use it now. I'm using my computer. So it's kind of its own tripod. But thank you so very much. That's very kind of you. And to answer the question, someone says, where are you at today? What property is this? So I'm at Longhorn Lester's. This is our home now. This is where we live. And so we spend most of our time here. I do drive to J&L Ranch property every day, and I'm there for 3 or 4 or 5 hours. Just depends on what my job is for the day. But I divide half my time there and half my time here. I do not go to the sanctuary every day. I am going about, well, at least twice a week, every Saturday and Sunday. And sometimes I'll make a visit, throughout the midweek at some point, just to kind of hang out, see the animals. But my son, Ellie, and his fiance, Megan, are running the sanctuary wonderfully. They're doing a great job. And I'm so blessed to be able to see the progression of my older son, Ellie, with Megan, and how they're finding their way around the farm. Farm life is not easy, and it's not for everybody. And so I've always told Ellie that if you and Megan ever find yourself, you gonna come join me? Jamie's working. She can't come join me. But I told him, if you ever find yourself where you're not enjoying and loving what you're doing, if you're not enjoying life that you have and that we've been blessed with the social media, and if you just find yourself not enjoying it, then you let me know, and we'll figure something out. But there's no obligation. I just want my sons to be happy in life with what they do. And I know for a fact that Megan finds a lot of satisfaction in working with the animals. Ellie's been doing it for so long that he doesn't have the same enthusiasm, but he's more of the take care of the chores that have to be done. Megan's more about just loving and showing all of her attention and affections to the babies. So we're blessed to have them over there. And what makes it easy is it doesn't require that I go every single day. You do know for a while we were going every single day, and it was just making life so busy, y'all. Um, um, can you please consider bringing Annie to Longhorn Lester's? Let me go ahead and pin that. We can talk about it for a minute. Tina McKinney says, can you please consider bringing Annie to Longhorn Lester's? So, Tina, remember that Annie was and is Jamie's second birthday gift from me to her, her second rescue. Bucky's, I got her year one of our relationship. And then year two, I got her Annie. So, Annie is absolutely belongs to Jamie, and that is Jamie's birthday gift. Right now, we can't move any alpacas, and here's why. We have the alpaca shearer, the lady who's going to come by and groom them. We have an appointment for the 15th of April. And after that appointment, we want to for sure bring our donkeys and Indy to whichever property suits them the best. And remember, we have to take ourselves and our thoughts out of the equation and do what's best for the animals. And so we know that having all of the alpaca at the same property until they can get sheared. We have the lady coming to one location. She has her machine, all of her contraptions, all of her tools. She'll do all of the alpacas, and there's 4, all that same day. Now, after that day, we can start making some decisions on what we're going to do with Jamie's Annie, because Annie is Jamie's. We also bought Ernie to be a partner to Annie. So we look long and hard at which pasture, which property can give them their best life. And so we will make those decisions at or around April 15th. That's about a month from now. And hopefully we'll get enough rain here in this next month to kind of give us an idea of what our grass will look like, at least to the start of the summer. So but yes, absolutely. Now, we also are we're talking to the vets now about trying to get Okie neutered, because Okie needs to be neutered so he will be safe around his mom and his sister, wherever he ends up. But my personal preference is to leave Okie with I'm a Survivor animals. Okie, that's where he was born, and that's where he seems to be very happy. Megan has done a lot to work with Okie. That's the son. That's the newest baby, the newest addition to the alpacas. And Okie seems to be doing very well over there. Okie has friends that he's made. He is a very, very lovable. He's very lovable. And I think that Megan has done a whole lot to help him become that way. And so it's only fair to allow Megan and Ellie to keep Okie. So we're not going to be like that and try to force things. But we will make some decisions, my friends. And here's what I've been doing. And I think that the folks who follow the channel religiously know this. I started off the new year trying to be more positive and trying to change the culture of the page. And what I realized is that a lot of the drama on the pages may have been partially my fault. And here's why. I talked to a lot of other creators and who do not have some of the same fighting in the comments back and forth. I'm not trying to get on to anybody. I'm not preaching, y'all. I'm not preaching. But a lot of the conflict in the comments comes from when I ask a question and I ask opinions and you start giving opinions, and that's a way for all of us to communicate. But there are some folks in the comments who don't like opinions. They don't like to hear your opinions. And they don't know how to address those. They don't know how to agree to disagree in a respectful and tactful way. So what we've been doing is I've just stopped asking for your opinions. Don't be mad at me for that. Don't be mad at me for that. Understand why I stopped doing it. In my videos before, I would say, I'm thinking about doing this with Carl, or I think I should do this with Tex, or I think we might should do this with Sadie. And all that did, it gave you an idea of where my mind was at. I gave you my reasoning and my thinking behind it, but I also asked for your opinions on what you think. And that in itself is that's the number one difference in our channel compared to so many other channels, is that we offer to you all a voice. We want to hear your voice. But what we don't want to see is your arguing and your fighting and your anger and your hate. And so I was told, flat out, I was told to stop asking. That Jamie and I run the sanctuary, we run Longhorn Lester's, and we run the J&L Ranch property. So what we have to do is make decisions based on what we see and what we feel in our hearts and in our gut. And we have to live with those decisions. So if they're wrong, they're wrong, but we have to live with them. And so we see firsthand a lot of things that you guys don't see in a 5, 10, or even a 15-minute video. So we've kind of stopped sharing our thoughts, and now we just do, and then we'll talk about why we did it. And now there's still going to be folks who don't agree or don't appreciate, or they feel they've been taken out of the equation. But we had to do that, y'all. We are attempting to change the culture of the page back to where it used to be, a place where we could all talk, share, love, be kind. Our entire motto was we're all survivors of something. And we used to be based on the fact that here we are, a whole lot of us who come from different backgrounds and experiences, yet we're all survivors of something. And there was something beautiful in that. There was something so beautiful in the beginnings of the page where people could come and talk about an illness in the family or the loss of a loved one or some personal strife they've been going through. And the community, that's what we are. We're a community, would all come together to love them and support them and give them a pat on the back or a push to kind of motivate and keep them going. That's what we used to be. That was the days that I'm a Survivor grew. And it was just the craziest couple of years of all of us coming together as a community to love each other and help each other and support each other. And I don't know, I try to sometimes look back and think where it all went wrong. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong. We're fine, but there have been some things, maybe some decisions on my end that made things complicated and made things difficult and made you pick a side and pick a team to join and pick a creator. And so, you know what, I will always second guess some things that I've done in the past, but we are trying in this new year, 2024, that we stay positive, we stay uplifting, we stay happy. We want to see the change in you, but we know it has to start with us. And so we're trying to hold ourselves accountable to being a positive and a fun and a happy place. I'd gone live recently and there was some arguing in the comments. So, of course, everyone has learned to go by and say the hey Felicia's, bye Felicia's, all that kind of stuff. And then I will go back after the live is over and figure out what the Felicia said that provoked so much. Beat it, move along. And I have had to remove a few people. And so my reasoning behind that is when I find a person who wants to argue, who wants to pick a fight, not always with me, sometimes with you. And so I'm just trying to remove the people who I think are causing the most strife on the page. It's nothing personal, y'all. It's nothing personal, but that is what we've been doing. All right, so let's go to my next gift over here. It comes to Lester Morrow. It's in a Scentsy box. I don't know if that's some kind of just the packaging that you used, but we will find out. It says fragile, handle with care. Why, Diane says, why are we all talking about Angel? Because no one's listening to Lester. That's okay, Diane. I know that happens sometimes. Okay, so I'm opening the box and I'm realizing that in this box seems to be a collection of all kinds of stuff. So there's a card and it says to Lester and Jamie. On the back, it says letter. I apologize for my poor handwriting. Inside the box, there's something inside of here. Now, I don't know exactly what this is, but when I open it, this appears to be something for Jamie. It looks like some of those little wax things that smell nice. And so we need to probably hand that off to Jamie. As a matter of fact, that says Jamie. This one here says Lester. And it says, Lester, just breathe. It'll be okay. Lester, just breathe. It'll be okay. Okay. I will just breathe and it'll be okay, she says. All right, that's just all packing in there. And then there must be one of those Scentsy burners down inside here. This is a little bit larger box, and it's probably the Scentsy burner, the thingamajig that makes your wax melt. So let me read the letter that says to Lester. And I want to say thank you for that. Oh, it's from Scentsy also. Now, it does say to Lester. So I don't mind opening this up. So it looks like two little small containers of something. Oh, this is called Just Breathe Baby Cream and Just Breathe Baby Wash. Okay, so baby cream and baby wash, and it's called Just Breathe. So that's interesting. What do I do with it? What do I do with it? Baby cream and baby wash. Well, thank you so very much. And those came to me. So we want to see it, Lester. We want to see. Okay, well, there you go. That's what you got. And so I could give it a smell test, I guess. That smells really good. This is the baby wash. That smells really good, like a baby. And this smells just more like just a lotion. Not it. The baby wash has a lot stronger aroma than what the baby lotion does. Well, thank you so very much. I don't see a name on that anywhere. There might be a name inside this longer letter, but it does say to Jamie also. And don't forget, sometimes you really can't read letters because people don't want you to read stuff. Good afternoon, Lester and Jamie. My name is Sarah. I'm in Apple Valley, Minnesota. I want to apologize for my handwriting now. I have multiple sclerosis, and my hands get tired pretty quickly. I want to write you personally with the gifts I'm sending. So I don't see anything where she says not to read it. So I'm going to go ahead and continue a little bit longer, okay? And it's multiple sclerosis. Isn't it sclerosis? It says here multiple sclerosis, but I thought it was multiple sclerosis. And I may be wrong, guys. I don't know. Okay. Oh, so she's actually a Scentsy consultant and she's trying to share her business with others. Okay, I get it. That's very nice of you. She's been watching the channel since sclerosis, multiple. So Kimberly's helping us with the spelling. Multiple sclerosis. I still may be saying it wrong, friends, but I think that we all understand. Um, so she talks a little bit about her life and about her history and being diagnosed with MS. She's been with her husband for 20 years. So she says now, because of her, I guess, her situation, she's lost her ability to work full time. And now she's even being ruled as disabled. And so she's finding that life has become difficult. So she's blessed to be working with Cincy. Okay, so I will absolutely take and I'll use your gifts. And thank you so very much for the letter and for the gifts. I appreciate that. And I will pass those along to Jamie, who I know for a fact she'll be a whole lot better. It says Sarah is in the chat. Hi, Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, for the gift. All right. Well, so from there, we're going to go ahead and jump over to one of these letters who've been here with us for so long. This comes airmail to Amos, Longhorn Lester. So we'll read this one over here if we can. Now, what I'm going to do is maybe not be able to read everything, obviously. And I appreciate this over here. The very first line, the very first sentence. Please do not read on video. I have no confidence. Thank you. And then her first sentence is, I may ramble on and on, so feel free to stop reading at any point. Ma'am, I'm not going to read it on video, but I do want everyone to see that when you say you can ramble on, these are pages front and back. And I'm skipping through, but I'm not exaggerating when I say, oh my God. Her final page is page 57 and 58. Lord, have mercy. I would say this is a good bathtub reading, but it'll get all wet. So I will read this a little bit later. I'm going to put it back into your package, into your envelope. It does say it came from airmail, which isn't that overseas? Anyway, I'm excited about reading this. Thank you, my friends, for letting me know not to read it on video. Of course, I could have probably never read that much on a video anyway. Going to the second letter, I was trying to find for you all the postage date to know how long this has been sitting over there at the other property. Hi, Lester Eugene Morrow Jr. Okay, so this over here is Lester. This is a great website to find info and relatives. I thought I would share this information with you from Barbara. And she's the Box of Rocks lady. Okay, so this here kind of goes back to, if you remember the cemetery that I've been working at over here, it goes back, and she's found a lot of the folks who are buried in the cemetery, and she's shown me the website where I can also find that information if I choose to know more about the individuals buried there. So thank you so much for that. Okay. Y'all want a little break from packages, or you want me to keep going on that? I don't mean to bore you all. Our numbers are looking really nice, though, so we're still holding an audience. Does anyone know when? Okay, Amanda. Does anyone know when Jake is going live? Amanda, Jake will go live all throughout the day, every day. So what you might want to do, instead of trying to take all of my people over to watch Jake, you should just go hang out on Jake's channel and twiddle your thumbs. And I promise you won't twiddle them very long before he'll go live for you again, okay? All right. So just saying, ma'am. If y'all remembered, I forgot how long ago that was, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we were alive. And one lady came to the comments and she kept telling everybody that Jake is live, Jake is live, Jake is live. And I'm thinking, well, then go watch it. Why are you over here telling everybody Jake is live? Oh, Lord. This says to Lester, but on the back it has a note for Jamie. So I'm just going to let Jamie read that. I already can tell you. It says my name, so I'll open it, but it's for Jamie. This says Lester Morrow and family. This might be something that's for me. I don't know. But it feels like something I can read pretty fast. Open packages, Lester. A J song. I'm opening letters. Just give me a second. Dear Lester and family, thank you for the blessings of letting us into your life. I'm so blessed to know you. I got through the COVID shutdown only because I had you to hang out with. That's how I got through COVID as well. Okay. That shutdown was tough. And it was nice being able to make new friends during a time when you weren't allowed to make friends. I'm crying my eyes out over the hurt that woman from Virginia put you through. That was the lady who called the police and made them do a welfare check on Ellie and Megan because, in her opinion, they were not working with the animals. What happened on that particular day, it was quite embarrassing for her, and she took a resource away from the police department there in Liberty County. What happened was she was familiar with seeing Longhorn Lester and she likes seeing our videos, and so what she was seeing on Ellie and Megan's channels were not the same type of interactions, and so she was just sure that Ellie and Megan were just abusing these animals like crazy. So what she did was just called the police multiple times, reporting animal cruelty, animal neglect, animal, you name it. And so sure enough, one day the police did show up, which was the most ridiculous thing ever. And when they did show up, there was a lot of video. Of course, Ellie has cameras everywhere. Ellie and Megan had gone to Walmart, so they were not there. But the policeman got out of his car, walked to the porch, knocked, looked in the windows the way an officer should do, began to walk around. Jake, who saw the officer come over and said, could he help him? And the officer said that there's been a report of neglect on the animals and everything else. So Jake literally walked the fella around, and what the fella saw was sparkling clean water, pastures nice and groomed, animals fat and healthy and living their best life, a pond that was beautiful. And I tell you what, it was a joke. It was a joke to the police officer to have to come out there and see that and I thought to myself, lady, get a life, really get a life, lady. With all of you can pass farms all day, every day, and you can see true neglect, y'all. We see it here all the time. Not here, but as we pass different farms, you can see true neglect. And how be it that this lady thought she would just, I don't even want to have to get into all that now. It's going to get me all riled up. But no, I was hoping that would be enough to just leave. Everyone could just leave Ellie and Megan alone because they had the hardest transition into their current role of anybody. And that is sad. Have you ever had a new job? And when you get to your new job, you have to learn to earn the respect of your colleagues, your employers. You have to learn the job. And hopefully you have a little bit of a grace period. And so this lady here, she was going to cut them no slack whatsoever. She wanted to have them just, I don't know what she wanted. I don't know what her ultimate goal was, but she ended up looking like quite the ass. And so, yeah, interesting and funny. All right, let's get to the packages here. Now, I've been a little bit baffled by this one over here. I've been watching it for a couple of days because it says Lester Morrow, I'm a survivor, donkey and farm animal sanctuary. But this looks to be the original packaging of a lot of chips. Now, I'm not a chip eater necessarily. Okay, I take that back. I have a really bad habit of a midnight snack. My midnight snack of choice would be chips. I don't know why. This is not just any box of chips, y'all. This is an entire box of Fritos because everyone knows that I have a thing for making some of my greatest recipes include the use of Frito corn chips. Oh my gosh. You take a package of these Fritos and a small can of Wolf brand chili. Now, everybody has their different preferences of chili. Some only eat the homemade stuff. Some can buy out of a can. Some will say Hormel. Some say Wolf brand. Well, we live in the deep South, and our chili preference over here is Wolf brand chili. And so you put one of these, open the top of that, and pour you some chili inside there, nice and hot. Put some cheese. You can walk around with this and a fork, and you can enjoy the best meal of all time. It sounds cheesy, very simple, very Longhorn Lesterish, and I love it. And now I have an entire case. Guys, I bet you there's probably 50 bags of Fritos in there. Now, what I don't know is who it's from because there's no return label on the box. But that's very kind of you and funny. So thank you so very much for that. Taco in a bag. Yes, a walking taco is what a lot of people call that. I like the Frito pie is what we call it. And it's delicious, okay? And Tanny says you don't even have to wash the bowl. Where'd that go? That was cute. I agree. That's the best thing about it right there is you don't have to wash the bowl. No, you don't. You just toss it in the trash. And then look at here. Anna says, geesh, I'm hungry now. Anna, I am too. And I do believe that what I'll have for lunch today will be some Frito pie. Oh my gosh. My hubby loves Fritos and chili. Okay, so a lot of people like it. So someone has says you should try Skyline chili. Never heard of that. And someone says, yes, I'm ordering pizza right now. Okay, that's great. It is lunch for us over here. So, all right, I got a few more boxes if you guys don't mind. This comes to Lester Morrow. Once again, there's no return address on it. It comes to the Plum Grove property, which is great. I know this sounds kind of mean, but I don't record me opening packages that are delivered to Longhorn Lester's. And you guys know why. We've talked about that a few times already. It's because our mail lady is really stressed out with all of the deliveries coming to this property. All right, so this here says it's a Solar Bird bath fountain pump. More sunshine, more joy. And then the little note that's in the box says, a small solar fountain to float around any of your beautiful ponds, or maybe just keep it for the J&L koi pond if you decide to do that. I love that I found your videos about 5 years ago. Thanks for all you do. And she puts those 2 X's, which means she's from overseas. Thanks for all you do, XX, from Michelle Ramirez. Yeah, I believe the Europeans, maybe just the Brits, have a thing with the little X's. I don't understand that, but you can always tell when you're talking to someone from across the pond when they put those 2 X's after all of their messages. So, Michelle, thank you very much. I don't know if it's meant to be in a small koi pond type enclosure or if it could actually go into a larger pond. So it's a bird bath fountain pump. So we're excited to try it out. So thank you so very much, ma'am. I'm going to put that over here to the side so we can keep that together. I do have 3 more. Y'all have time for 3 more? Okay. This is fairly large and heavy. Oh, okay. And I see why. It comes to I'm a Survivor, care of Lester and his pigs. And I bet you can probably guess what's in here. Oatmeal. And this is absolutely, y'all, this is absolutely our favorite pig food. They love this stuff. And I love seeing the pigs happy. I also love seeing the pigs wallow around in slop. And I know that sounds kind of dumb, but pigs eating oatmeal to me is the funniest thing because they will just go right in and you can hear them slurping. It's quite gross. If you get grossed out easily, uh-oh. Uh, Pat says, can you put a warning on your Longhorn Lester page about packages? No packages accepted at this address. I think you have a lot of newbies that don't know. As far as your old timers, well, what can I say? Pat, so I know that anybody can Google and find you. People can use the internet and find all kinds of stuff. We don't publicly list the address for a reason because we have a gated entrance. And the gate is, well, you already know this. Our gate is half a mile down the driveway. So we can't see the gate from here. It's very hard to see the gate. So we don't want packages delivered here that might could get picked up and taken off with. Secondly, this drive, the neighborhood is very quiet. It's an retirement community. So a lot of the folks here are retired and they really do like the peace and quiet of their neighborhood. And I don't want Longhorn Lesters to be the reason for traffic and noise and trucks backing in and Amazon trucks all and FedEx truck all throughout the day. So we are blessed for the gifts and the goodies and the packages, especially if they're for the animals that you guys love and care about so much. But we just ask that you not send those to this particular property because there's no one here to receive them. And we don't want to mess up the culture of the community, which is peaceful and quiet and everything else. All right, we got one more. I'm going to reach around here. It's very heavy, and I don't know what could be in it, but I carried it over from the truck over to here. Uh-oh, those arrows probably mean something, which probably means this side up. This says, to Lester at I'm a Survivor. I like to show y'all the label so you don't think I'm lying to you. Also, I know that Megan has lost some packages. And so every time, well, not just Megan, but my dad, everybody has lost packages, y'all. Everybody has lost packages. And it seems like every time a package goes missing, we get blamed for it. Oh, wow. Now, this cost somebody what they call a pretty penny. And I hate that y'all did that. But this is, in fact, the Piranha wipe and spray that we use on the horses, the donkeys, and heck, we use it around the house. We use it all over the place. And so you can spray the animals down. We've learned that putting it in a pump sprayer with a fine mist is easier. Of course, with some animals who don't like the fine mist, they don't mind getting a little bit wet, and it does their body good, keeping them rid of all kinds of flying pests. It kills and repels flies. There's a lot of kinds of flies. Okay, hold on. Stable flies, deer flies, horse flies, house flies, face flies. Aren't those gnats? Aren't face flies gnats? Gnats are the little tiny ones that like to go into your nose or go into your ear or go into your eyes. Gnats are horrible. They find your body openings and they go right in. They have no concerns. Horn flies, mosquitoes. It's also a coat conditioner, and it's citronella scented. So we've used this for years. We at one point had a sponsorship with Piranha, and I do believe that it went really well for them. They sent us probably 100 of these, and they lasted us forever. So there are still some around here and there. We've brought several over here. There's still some at the sanctuary, but on occasion we are also gifted some. And so we thank you all very much for that. If you watch Longhorn Lester channel, you might know that I did put up the sponge over at the JL property so the cows can walk under it and they can have that repellent go down their back. The sponge will release its it's repellent right down their backbone. And that's where the most of the flies and gnats come to, around their horns, around their back. And so we're hoping that can help keep them protected. Um, I see something very lengthy here. Nicole, um, Nicole, you certainly have a very pretty profile picture. She says, Sally Peterson, it's so weird because I came in 5 minutes after the video started and haven't had any issue at all. Then I keep seeing comments like, you're saying they can't play the video. Maybe try one of his other channels and see if it works. He said it. He said it is live on all channels. I think it's a Facebook problem. Thank you, Miss Nicole, for helping out with that over there. And it's true. Sometimes people come in a little bit late and they may not be able to get the signal. And I'm not ignoring them. I promise you, I'm not ignoring them. They just go by so fast and it's hard to catch them. I only caught Nicole's because it was a lengthy comment. And sometimes the lengthy ones take up a big space, so I can reach over and catch them before they fly up out of my range. So can you use a paint roller on the animals to put on the fly repellent? Now that's a longhorn lustrous kind of thing right there, Hazel. So I picture, you know, the little pan that you get with a paint roller. I picture we pour in the chemical, the repellent, take your paintbrush and you roll it down the roller. You shake it off like you would if you're going to paint something, and then you just roll it right down the animal. I bet you the horses would love that. The horses would love that. What I'm going to do is suggest that to Jake. I think that Jake would have a lot better chance with doing that with that big galoot we all call Moo. I'm certain that he will. And that'll be a lot of fun to watch. So I'm going to take your idea, Hazel, and I'm going to send it over to Jake. That's Shirtless Jake Homestead, and see if I can get him to do that with that big galoot we call Moo. That would be funny. So, is the gator gone? Officially, no. The gator is still there. Pam, I know you always say you would rather us not ask questions. No, I'm okay with questions, but like not an interrogation kind of a thing. Pam, I'm going to pause you just for a second. Let me clarify this. I don't mind if you ask questions, but here's what I notice sometimes. Right when the live starts, how's Tilly? Where's Ringo? I haven't seen Sadie. And so no one really gives you a chance to like break the ice. And that's not a very warm welcome. So I don't mind questions, but let's just kind of ease into them. And so questions are fine. That's kind of helps how you drive the live by seeing the kind of things you guys want to talk about. And I'm fine with that. I'm going to start this one over here for a second. I know you always say you would rather us not ask questions. That's not really the way I say it, but I probably have a strange question. Ooh, a strange question. Why do the flies hang out so much around their horns? It just seems like the most infested area on them. That is a wonderful question that I cannot answer. I don't know. What I think, though, it's not on the tip of the horns. It's not along the horns. It's the base of the horn. If you notice, a lot of the flies are right on the base of the horn where the skin, the tissue from the skin connects. And do you think that maybe that might be a place they can kind of hang out? They can breed, lay their eggs, eat? I don't know. I do not know. But that's what I think. There must be like a, it's kind of like a nerve ending on us. They say certain body parts have nerve endings. Maybe there's more blood there. Maybe they have an easier access to getting blood. Maybe they're far enough from there away from their tail where they can't get swished and swatted away. No matter how much the cow does that, it's not gonna. I don't know, but that's actually a really interesting question that I have no idea the answer to. Mary Ann says, I've been following you for 5 years now, and I love all your videos. Thank you, Mary Ann. All the videos, even the goofy ones. I've watched you grow from 1 property to 3 properties and all the beautiful rescues you have taken on. Thank you for helping all the animals. You're blessed. Mary Ann, I will say that we are overly blessed. The I'm going to say something to you all, and I hope that this comes out right. Now, there's 5,000 people watching, so if I blunder this, there's no way to edit. So please try to understand where I'm coming from, and I may need someone to help me put this into the right words. Sorry, there's a bird flying by. He's very loud. Um, it was never our intention when we started a social media channel to expand. I mean, think about it. We started off at my home in Plum Grove, where I had lived my entire life. Yes, we were flooded a few times during my lifetime. Never was my home flooded and destroyed like it was with Hurricane Harvey flooding. And that particular video sort of set a lot of things in motion. And it opened us up to not only a social media presence, but it also made it to where, with us losing so many animals from the hill and having so many animals in the area that had been displaced from the flooding, it gave us an opportunity to get into the animal rescue part of taking care of animals, taking animals that were abused, neglected, abandoned, or in this case, displaced. Or, like we've always said, sometimes an owner may be a wonderful owner. They just can't take care of their animals. They don't have the resources maybe for the vet care or whatnot. And so Jamie and I, once we got the social media channel up and going, and we found out that there was a niche in that people were drawn to. So we began to make our videos, and we were very blessed to find a community of people who loved animals, farm animals in particular, and they were completely okay with the type of things we were trying to do in creating, or let me just say this, rebuilding the rebuild of our destroyed farm, in trying to make it more of a forever home for farm animals. I hope that makes sense to you. But it didn't stop there. We continued to grow, and with growth of the channel also meant growth of the farm with more animals. And at some point we realized that the land that we actually have there in Plum Grove was two things. Number one, it did not belong to me. It was family land that I live on. And so I don't have the autonomy just to go and fence and do whatever I want to do. Everything has to go through a chain of command, and I was not on the top of that list. So that was one factor. Secondly, we needed more land for the animals that we were trying to house. The horses, the cows, the donkeys they're grass eaters, and we in fact only had a total of 5 acres that we had fenced off, that we were trying to maintain. And so once we opened up some of the back pastures for the cows to get the nutrition that they needed, we had issues with neighboring bulls. And there was a lot of issues that put our cows into very dangerous situations, a lot of fighting. And so at that point, we knew we had to kind of begin to look around for a property that would be more conducive to the cows, maybe even the horses. And so and we also were making sure that the property that we found would be one out of a floodplain. So we would never again have to worry about flooding, because Plum Grove, as much as we love the home where I was born and raised and grew up, and it runs through my blood, it is prone to flooding, y'all. It's very prone to flooding. And so when we began to look around for another property, we found this place here in Livingston. Longhorn Lester's is what we called it. And it was going to be a place for the Longhorns, maybe the horses. And if you remember, we brought our animals over with us. Now, we did leave the farm animals that we thought do very well at the sanctuary. We brought over most of our goats. We did leave the alpacas because of their particular interest in the pond and the things that we had built for them, the stalls, the places they have to go out of the weather. And we were here for 2 years, and we were very happy, and we still are very happy. But for those 2 years, I was able to manage the sanctuary and Longhorn Lester's, and I managed both properties. And so my day was pretty much spent waking up and doing my jobs here, and then driving over and doing my jobs at the sanctuary. Once Ellie and Megan decided that they were going to, well, Megan finished college, she moved back home. They'd got them an apartment at first, and at some point they came to us and said that they're ready to live there in the country. And so this is the part that angered a lot of people. We have the barn dominium, which is the barn house that I built for myself after the hurricane flood destroyed my home. And I told Jamie, we don't need to have the barn house and then the big house when we're in fact staying over here at Longhorn Lester's almost every day of the week. And so instead of making Ellie and Megan move into the smaller barn dominium, we allowed them to move into the big house. And we moved our few things, into the barn dominium. We had grass problems over here. We had some land that had to be cleared. We had a horrible pH balance in our soil. And there were some issues that we never thought about. So we had to begin to go back to the drawing board and figure out what we could do differently and all of those kind of things. And so we begin to look for more ranch style properties, not just, I will say that we probably did not think out this property very well as far as the amount of things. We didn't look at the grass. We didn't test the soil. We didn't do anything of our homework that we should have done. So I do not regret the move to Longhorn Lester's because it's beautiful here. But it just, once again, after a couple of years, we realized this is not enough. It's not enough for what we're trying to do. So we did take and begin to combine our resources. And that's when we went ahead and bought the third property, the JL Ranch property. And that's where we've decided to move all of the cows, because that does give them their best life. And I think that anyone that watches the channels know that. I think you can very easily see how happy and how free and how content and how just the Longhorns, they truly are living their very best life. I think that over here, the horses are doing wonderful. They have Jamie's here who's with them several times throughout the day, every day. Our goats are doing wonderful. They haven't had a bit of grain in so long. They don't need it, y'all. They don't need the grain. They have enough to forage on and to graze on. The big birds are doing great. There's not all the back and forth traffic that the sanctuary had. Don't have the church kids running over, always trying to toss their bags of chips or their styrofoam cups over the fence for the birds. It's so much more peaceful here. And so we really have found that Longhorn Lester's, where we're at today, and the J&L Ranch property, where I travel to back and forth every day, truly are the ideal settings for what Jamie and I like to do, for what we like to do, and the animals that we like to take care of. And so for the most part, LE, my older son, has in fact taken on a very large role, and he stepped into it, and he's doing great. He's still learning on the job, friends. Don't forget, LE is still learning on the job, but he has a vision, and he's trying to make all of those things happen. And I'm very proud of him. I am very proud of him. So here was the part that I think is going to be a little bit unsettling for people, because I'm just going to go ahead and say this the way it is. Please hear me out and don't shut me off. I think that I have a pretty good grasp of our demographics, meaning the people who enjoy the channel. And my biggest fear, this is my biggest fear. I'm hoping that you will read my lips when I say this. My biggest fear is for you guys ever thinking that I've changed and I'm no longer one of you. I never want you to think that I feel like I'm better or I'm thiser or I'm thater. I don't, because I don't want to ever become that kind of a person. So it's beautiful to me to drive up the driveway. I like to take my video camera and record coming up the lane or coming up, through the pastures here or sitting out by the pond and just kind of scrolling across. I love showing the animals in slow motion, and you kind of evolve into all of that. And to me, I find so much love and joy in the beauty of the properties, all three properties. But I do know that there are people that find that to be very distasteful because they feel like I'm being boastful and braggart, like showing off. And I don't know how to tell you and make you believe me that that's not an attempt of me to show off. I'm still Lester, y'all. I'm just Lester. I'm just Lester. And you're going to make me cry with all these sweet things you're saying. I'm just Lester, y'all. And I don't try to dress. I don't try to vacation. I don't try to do things that put me into a different category. I think that we do have three beautiful properties that we're so very proud of. And all three require so much work. There's not a day off. There's not, y'all. There's not a day off. Hear me when I say that. There's not an hour in the day that you have off when you're trying to manage so much. And people can say, well, you're going to stretch yourself thin. Absolutely. Don't tell me anything I don't already know. I am very stretched thin. I feel like that little hamster that goes into that little cage every morning, and you start doing that repeating cycle over and over and over. And my Monday looks the same as my Tuesday, as my Wednesday does to my Thursday, and every day of the week. So I snatch opportunities here and there to grab Lex and to grab LE and to do something out of the ordinary. Um, Taking Jamie somewhere here or there on occasion, very rare occasions. But I don't want to be just some kind of a guy who thinks he's too good or he acts too good. I'm not good. I'm not good, y'all. I'm not too good. I'm still you. I'm still one of you. We've all come together at a point in my life where I had nothing to offer you, nothing at all. I was a horrible, broken man with nothing to offer you. And I'm still here. And as dumb as this is going to sound, I'm still a horrible, broken man who goes out every day to that same wheel trying to find something to offer you. I do. And I'm sick for that because it is sickening that my entire day is driven on getting up at that alarm and grabbing my phone that has to be fully charged. And my day starts trying to find things to entertain you. Now, the beauty of all of that is the fact that social media does pay very well. And you can't make apologies for how much money you make off of your hard work. I'm so sorry if it comes across as I'm being boastful or braggart about that. I'm not trying to be. So making money through social media advertisers is a way that we're able to do more and take care of more animals and feed more and do more vets and more horse dentists and more, you name it. We get the sponsorship opportunities now. So a lot of things have evolved and maybe makes it look like we're goody two shoes, but we're not. We're not goody goodies, y'all. We're just normal people, Jamie and I both, who are the same people today as we were 6 years ago when you found us with nothing, just nothing. And I don't know where all that came from. I don't know where all that came from. So just please don't ever think that I'm just all he does is shows off his property. All he does is brags on his fencing skills. All he does is brags on his whatever. I don't mean to come across that way. I will say that I think that our Longhorns are beautiful. So if I'm bragging on the Longhorns, it's only because they haven't always been as healthy. They struggled tremendously this summer with the drought and with having no vegetation. And I saw how skinny, I saw the ribs and I saw the bones, and it broke my heart. So now when I can go by there and really take time to focus and show and just highlight how healthy they all look and how healthy the pastures are doing, that's not Lester bragging. That's just Lester being so proud of the hard work that was able to get you from here to here, knowing that you made it. And I promise you, there's just as many failures, y'all. We don't mind letting you know that sometimes things don't work out. We can't control everything. And so it's like with Rita. Um, you know, if we wanted to come across as people who knew it all and could do it all and we're just amazing folks, then we would make videos like that. But we don't mind showing you the real. And in real, Rita gives me a hard time. The video coming out this afternoon on YouTube shows me and the dogs out by the pond, and Rita comes at us, and we all, me and all the girls had to run like little schoolgirls, screaming and hollering because Rita's coming to get us. And so I don't know, y'all. It's hard, but please don't ever have the wrong impression of us that we try to be all that. We are blessed for the 3 properties, and like I said multiple times, whenever my dad gets around to deeding off some property there at the sanctuary in Plum Grove, I'm not going to hoard that property just to say that I have 3 properties. I will turn around and I will deed that off to my oldest son on that same day if I can. And so now that will become Le's property, and he can do with that as he pleases. And that will make my heart happy to know that I've done enough and I've built enough and I've made it beautiful enough. And now I can hand that off to my children. And I know that you all are the same way. You want to have something to give to your children because we will not be here forever. And so then all of the work here at Longhorn Lester's, I've already said this so many times, that as Lex gets older and once he gets to the age where he's ready to start having more ownership and doing his own thing, and he shows some responsibility and he knows he can manage, then we will by all means begin to let Lex evolve more into the property here in Livingston at the Longhorn Lester property. And then as all of my kids are growing up and getting older and finding their way, don't forget that I will also be getting older. And at some point, if Xander, and I say if, because as of right now, Jamie's son, Xander, has no desire to ever live in Texas. He has family up north and he enjoys spending time with his family. He doesn't really desire to have land or those kind of things. So what Jamie and I will do, and we've talked about this openly with you all and with Xander, I even showed Xander, gave him a tour of the JL Ranch property and got his opinions. And it's just not his thing, y'all. It's not his thing. And that's fine. I'm not going to make it become anybody's thing, but it could very well be that at some point, Jamie and I will begin to make more of a move to that property at some point and take what we need with us as far as the animals that we connect with and that we are closer to. And then Xander, if it comes to the time where Jamie and I are finally getting too old to manage and run stuff, then we'll bless Xander with his own inheritance of whatever Xander chooses. So we're going to take care of our kids. Am I making any sense to y'all at all? I don't know if I'm making any sense to you all at all. Sorry. I don't even know where all that came from. Bailey says, "Hey, Longhorn Lesters, I have to go for an assignment, but remember, you and Jamie are incredible and deserve the world and more. Cheers and happy early St. Patty's Day from us to you all." Well, thank you, Bailey. You're very kind. She's such a sweet girl. Um, okay, so everyone's saying I am making sense. Thank you. Are you going to help people start their channels anymore like you did in the beginning? So Deanna Reitmeyer. Hi, Deanna. Deanna, if anyone needs help with the channel, I'll be more than happy to give them a start, a help. And so let me just, I'm not trying this once again, Deanna, you're trying to get me in trouble here because what Deanna wants me to do is make a comment that sounds like we're bragging, and we're not. The difference is we're blessed to have an audience. So if I find somebody who I think can share some joy, and they may have a similar love of either their kids or their animals or their land, and they have a gift they can share with the world, then I would absolutely love for them to be able to find the same success in social media as what I found in social media. And so both of my sons, LE and Lex, both have their very own channels. So they're getting a taste of what it's like to take a product and offer it to the world. And the benefits that they receive from that is their compensation. The benefits in the comments, the benefits they get from the way you can build up a person's self-esteem and their ego, the same way you help build me from the ashes up to where we're at today. And so I always remind you that, yes, Lex is on YouTube. Lex is on YouTube. He has a wonderful little channel and he makes the cutest little videos. So, um, I don't even know where I was going with that. But anyone in the Morrow family who has an interest in starting a channel, we've absolutely encouraged them how to do it. We taught them some of the basics. We remind them of do's and don'ts. We advise them if they want the advice of what they might could do to better or move their channel along. And not everybody, there have been some letdowns, y'all. I have been embarrassed. I've been embarrassed by channels that I try to promote and encourage you to go by and visit, when in fact some of those channels turn out to be money hungry folks trying to take from you, folks who only want to get onto social media for the money, not to spread joy and love and make the world a better place. And I think that you all know the channels that do that. I'm not going to sit here and specifically list and name the channels that have let us down, but there are channels that I wished I would not have promoted or talked about. I wish that because I feel like in doing that, it's like if I give somebody a letter of recommendation, I'm putting my name on the line, letting their employer know that this is a quality employee. And if that employee, in fact, turns around to be the laziest and the most, all the things that does not contribute to the workplace, then now it makes me look bad. It takes away my credibility. And so I have had letdowns for people I've tried to help with their own channels, and only to find out that they're using them for not. And so I'm not going to criticize them, but I'm not going to keep talking them up when I realize their motives, their purpose, and their intent is not to bring a smile or a laugh to you, but instead to find a way to make you give them money. That's not what we're about. That's what we've never been about. And that's what we'll never be about that. So I wanted to find something. That's not the one I wanted to find. Over here is interesting. So Mary Jordan says, are you going to shut down I'm a Survivor Sanctuary when you deed the property to LE? So the channel will never be shut down. What I try to do, now this is not every single video, but I try as hard as I can to make any I'm a Survivor Sanctuary video include the rescues. And guys, there are so many rescues. So that's not hard to do. I could put the horses, the dogs, Carl, Debbie, Wanda, the big birds, certain goats, the Tillies, you already know. They're the little Garys. It's not hard to make an I'm a Survivor video, which includes lots of surviving animals, rescues, even though I'm not actually at the location of I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. And so a channel is just a name, y'all. It's just a name, but the channel is content that I create. And so that's the beauty of having a channel. It can really be whatever I decide to do. And my personal preference is to try to keep it geared to animals that do have a story that we've all learned to love and follow along with. And then Longhorn Lester's, which was kind of my personal spin off of I'm a Survivor that focused more on me and my other interests, not always the rescue part of the channel, but Lester type stuff, Longhorn Lester's type of stuff. That's not always Longhorn Lester's at all, which is funny. But I try to have a little bit of a difference in how the channels look so they don't copy each other. And that's something that I struggle with because I don't want to have two matching channels. I want to have two separate channels that have differing content. But as of right now, everyone knows you can go to any channel and get pretty much, well, you're going to see my twist on things. You're going to see my unique perspective on things, and that's the beauty of it. But no, I will not shut down the channel. Now, as far as renaming it, I don't know. That's up to Ellie and Megan. If they want to ever rename it, that's completely on them. I always say that even though Ellie and Megan manage I'm a Survivor, the property, as of right now, I'm still the owner. So we still have to sometimes make sure that we're on the same page of things they want to do and things the directions they want to go with their rescues, with their fencing projects. Right now, we're having a small difference of opinion in some fencing that Ellie and Megan want to see happen that I'm not truly on board with for various reasons. Now, that's no knock on Ellie and Megan. I admire the fact that they both have a vision for what they would like to see, but we have to make sure that we accommodate everybody else around the hill because, in fact, many people do share the same driveway and have to, anything big has to come up the I'm a Survivor driveway because it can't get up mom and dad's driveway. So you guys already know that we're kind of remember moving the water trucks, for example. The most recent things were those large water trucks that Jake and Brienne had ordered. They wouldn't have fit up mom and dad's driveway. They had to come up I'm a Survivor drive. So I just need to make Ellie and Megan understand that they can't be selfish in their desires to change the fencing. They have to remember that there's a lot of people that depend on having a nice, wide, and straight driveway. So I don't know if I've answered anything you want me to answer at all. Sharon says, Ellie showed the big gates on his channel that he put up. Yes, I know that he was working on that. Yes, someone else says, don't forget when you had to bring in Brienne's home, we had to take all of our gates and our fencing down. So we're a family, y'all, and that's what families do. So I just don't want Ellie to ever get to a point where he can't help family if they end up needing something. Yeah, ambulance and fire trucks need an easement, absolutely. And so by having gates that close and lock, you don't ever want to put anyone in danger of having a closed and locked gate. Now, I say that here, and we have closed and locked gate, but over here it's just us, not multiple members of a family. My mom and dad are both older. You have babies up there that could choke at any moment, and you just want to make sure that they always have an accessible drive. So we will absolutely continue to talk and advise Ellie and Megan, but I do want to make sure Ellie has the autonomy to do what he wants to do with the property. And that's important for a man who's becoming his own. You can never really become your own person if you have someone else always telling you how to do things. So Someone says, yes, he's at JL Ranch. Kathy, I'm not sure who's at JL Ranch, but I am here at Longhorn Lester's if you're talking about me. And there should be no one else at JL Ranch. And the reason I know that is because I go to my phone and look at my cameras. So I don't know what you know or what you're looking at, but I am looking now. If y'all give me a second, I'll show you. All righty, where are we at? Here we go. Today. Yep, it looks nice and quiet over there. All I see is a little truck, the old truck sitting over there. And then I also have a gate camera that shows me the front gate. So there's no one over at the J&L right now. So I'm not sure who she's talking to. Oh, I'm so sorry. She was referring to Gary. Yes, Gary is at the JL Ranch. I'm so sorry, man. I thought you were trying to say that Ellie's over there or Lester's over there or whatever. I will talk about one last thing. And even though no one's talking about it that I can see, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But here we go. Yes. So Hayes Donna or Donna, Hazy Donna, Hayes Donna says, Sadie. And yes, Sadie is at the JL Ranch property. And this is where a lot of people are going to feel your blood beginning to boil. But friends, I will look you in the eye. Where's the eye at? Here's the eye. I will attempt to look you into the eye, and I'm going to tell you that Sadie is happier now at the JL Ranch, where she has complete ownership of the entire property, and she lives with and she hangs with the cows. I cut her a doggy door. I'll go over and show you later. I cut her a doggy door into our little room. I put her doggy bed. I put her food, her water. She has her very own room to go into. She also can come out throughout the day and the night, and she's very happy. As a matter of fact, what I'll do when I head over in an hour or so, I will go live. I'll go live on Longhorn Lester channel. We'll do it. We'll go Longhorn Lester on YouTube. How about we do that? And you will see for yourself when we get there. Sadie's a happy girl. She loves when we come over, and we do not regret our decisions there whatsoever. Now, if you want to be reminded of why we made those decisions, everyone knows we had a neighbor issue with Sadie barking around the property, and we were not able to find a way to keep her from barking so much throughout the night, because that is in fact what she does. Would you believe, though, that now at the other property, I've camped out there multiple nights, y'all. You know that I've woken up and I went live from the property, just waking up, and Sadie's fine. She's happy. She's not barking all night. She's just loves the fact that this is hers. And I do think that over here, she may have always felt some competition with neighborhood dogs who would also bark, with not knowing which animals are hers to protect and guard. Now, guess what? She has one set of animals, 17 longhorns and one shorthorn bull, and those are her babies. And she's with them and she loves them. And I'm very, very blessed that we have a place to take Sadie where she's living her best life. Now, if you're going to say, Lester, but she's by herself, she's alone, maybe you may feel that way. But I want to remind you of how many people go to work for 8 or 9 or 10 hours a day, and they leave their dog in a kennel or in their apartment, or they leave their dog somewhere alone. Surprise, I'm one of those people too. When I go and make my travels to the other properties, I don't take Millie. I don't take Fiona. So are you going to say I'm leaving them alone? I am. I'm leaving them alone here at the property. Sadie gets her 4 or 5 hours with Daddy every day, and then I leave her with the property. And so some dogs are lucky enough to travel with me. Christmas right here goes pretty much everywhere that I go. But she is the one who can pretty much say that she's become daddy's number one girl, y'all. And that's her wanting to be my number one girl. She's right here now. I can't wait till we leave. Brenda says, I pray she won't go into the gator pond. Brenda, she will go everywhere the cows go. That is the one thing I will tell you. And I say that based on what I've seen with my own eyes every time I'm there. Now, it's cute because when I drive up, if the cows are out back, she sees me. And I have the little alarm on the gate that begins to buzz when I come in. Woo, 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 woo. She hears that and she looks up and she starts coming my way. So she comes to greet me. I love on her. I normally give her a treat when I first get there. And then what I do is I get on the side by side and me and Christmas go do our rounds or whatever job I'm working on. And guess what she does? She'll make her way back to wherever she was at. And she's very happy. Now, personally, I don't know how she's happy because I've watched Danny and Ruby both come up and just push on her and they shove on her and they fight with her and she lets them do it. She lets them do it, y'all. I don't know why she lets them do it. But then Jamie reminds us that don't forget it was Sadie who lived and grew up and helped us teach Danny and Ruby the art of bottle feeding and how to be, loved on. So she helped raise these little babies. She helped raise them. And even though now they're getting much bigger, she just thinks they can push on all they want to. And I'm like, well, are you nuts? That's going to hurt. I'm not sure. Jeanette says Trixie with a question mark. Trixie with a question mark. Right over there is Trixie with a question mark. And she's lying over there in the sun. And she's happy. But I will say that Sadie does not roam down the road. She doesn't roam to Mr. Curtis's house. That's the neighbor who lives next door, the only neighbor. She doesn't roam to the other pastures. She knows her purpose. Her purpose are cows. And my friends, the last thing I'll say about Sadie, and then I'll move on, is that remember that Sadie was here all summer when all of our longhorns were here. We had longhorns, bulls over in one pasture, and all of our cows and heifers and calves are over in this pasture, and our calves are right over here. And Sadie made her rounds then. So my friends, she knows what to do. She knows about cows. And so I understand you worry. We all worry. But Sadie's living a wonderful life, and you would never be able to see it and to know it unless you're able to see it. I could say it all day long, but a little bit later we'll drive over and I will absolutely go live on the Longhorn Lester channel on YouTube. On YouTube, it has to be YouTube or Facebook. I don't care, y'all. Who's having issues today? I don't want to go live on whoever's having issues, but I'll find a way to go live and you can see for yourself. And we'll make it about Sadie. We'll call it a Sadie Live, and we'll go live with Sadie and I'll show you all around of what we've done for her. All righty. Okay. I understand. Evangelina says, I only worry about her because of what happened to Sandy. Yes, I agree. So I will tell you something. What was your name again? Oh, Lord, I lost it. I lost it. I lost it, y'all. I lost that lady's name. I'm still replying to her, but it's gone. Remember that we've often said this, and this is true on any channel that you watch. I don't care if it's Cog Hill, Arms Family, Keeping It Dutch. There's Mr. Pete calling his dogs, and there goes my dogs over to take a look. Eddie Family, I don't know what channels you all watch, but farm dogs have to be a different kind of dog. They have to have their heads on a swivel. Everyone knows that. And so Sandy's problem, the difference in Sandy and Sadie is that Sandy liked to chase and kind of herd the cows around. Her breed of dog liked to chase the cows around. And so she would sometimes get herself into trouble by chasing them because she would agitate them. So I'm certain that Sandy, even though I didn't see it with my own eyes, I'm certain that Sandy was probably out there agitating Tex. Tex pinned her in a corner and he hurt her. The difference, though, is that Sadie doesn't bark at the cows. She's not aggravating. She's the most low key. She just wants to be present, and she wants to watch from a short distance to keep them safe. She thinks that she's keeping them safe. And so Sandy and Sadie have a different type of dog. And I don't think we'll ever have an issue with Sadie because she's not a leg nipper. She doesn't run up and bite their tail. She doesn't try to chase them into circles. She's fine. The dog that I worry the most about is this darn Christmas, because she likes to get up in their beeswax. She wants to be a part of them, and they don't need her to be a part of them. And then, of course, Stella, because she can't hear a darn thing. Stella gets in so much trouble because she can't hear. So trust me. I'll say one last thing. Trust me. Our dogs here are at more risk from Rita than Sadie over with all of the Longhorns and the little shorthorn bull known as Little Gary. Yes, Vanessa, you have amazing ears. Vanessa says, where did it go? Oh, Vanessa. It went by too fast. Vanessa says, I can hear Carl in the background. So you could, Vanessa. Now, Vanessa, I don't want to embarrass you, but what you heard was a mating call. And so not everyone can hear that. Just saying. Vanessa, I'm kidding with you. That really was a mating call, and everyone can hear that. Not just you, Vanessa. Everyone can hear that. Oh, Lord. I'm sorry, Vanessa. I was playing with you. Say my name. Someone says, say my name. Okay. Say my name. Let me see what your name is. Oh, no. Kayla heard it too, y'all. Dorinda Michelle says, say my name. What does that mean? Is that like a Carl thing? Carl, you want to hear Carl saying your name too? Yes, that sound that you heard was Carl trying to call up some ladies. That's what Carl does to call the ladies in close. And once he gets them in close, then they all his. They're not going to outrun him once he gets them pinned up to a corner. So, Vanessa, I was playing with you, and everyone else who got the humor in that knows my sense of humor. I just mess around, y'all. Santoro has a baby now. I'll talk about that for a minute. So, Sandy, you're very welcome. That's not where I was going with that one. I snatched the wrong one. Dorinda, now you got everyone else saying your name. Dorinda wanted to hear her name, y'all. And so Leslie goes, I'll say her name. I lost it, but yes. So Santoro, who, oh no, Barb thought that was her dog snoring. So Barb can hear it too. No, Barb, that was a mating call, which you hear. Were you drawn towards it, Barb? Were you kind of like, could you find yourself being drawn towards the sound? Please don't say yes, because every man on here is being like, Maybe we should start our live that way next time. Maybe I'll start my live by making a mating call, an ostrich mating call. Oh my God, look at Barb says yes. Barb says she was drawn to it. Y'all are being too funny. Yeah. Don't ever tell a man that there's a mating call, because he'll be doing that left or right, and you don't want to have to go out to the street and hear, I think it'd be, that's bad enough, y'all. Ladies, you have a hard time having to deal with men and their darn mating calls. But the story, okay. Story of Santoro, please. Marcy Stringer. Yes, the story of Santoro is. All right. The story of Santoro is that Santoro was a bull born of a amazing genetic bloodline. He was the son of Tex, who's a very highly pedigreed bull, and the son of Santiana, who is an equally highly pedigreed cow. Santoro was born on the over at the sanctuary, and as he grew and developed into a very fine-looking young man, he had one small problem. And I say one small problem. Who can help us tell Marcy what his one small problem was? Can anyone tell us the one small problem? I'm trying to catch it. Okay. So Terry says he only had one apple. Oh, Terry. Yes, he did. So he only had one apple or ball. Okay. And so now, granted, there could have very well been a second testicle up inside of him that never dropped. But our plans for Santoro were to get him to age. And that normally happens at about 1 to 2 years old when they're yearlings. And then you start posting pictures. And so we joined a publication here of a Longhorn publication that would put us into a elite group of Longhorn breeders and Longhorn, yes. And so we listed Santoro on the classifieds there. We listed all of his registration information along with the two bloodlines. We took tons of pictures, and as usual, the couple of men ranchers who contacted us wanted to make sure they could see a few other parts of him. And there was an issue with the fact that they wanted to see both of his testicles. And there's nothing abnormal about that, friends. They're not a bunch of weirdos, a bunch of, it's nothing weird about that. But with bulls, that is, in fact, what you need to see. And so at that point, Santoro was unproven, meaning he had not produced any offspring, and he only had one dropped testicle. And so a lot of people were turned off by that. So we were feeling like we may end up having to go the long run and just keep Santoro. We thought about maybe getting him steered, which would be neutered, keeping him around, because there wasn't really anyone here he could integrate with. We gave him to Jake at first, and he ended up becoming too aggressive to keep with Jake. So we brought him back over here. For a while, he ran with his dad, Tex, along with his buddy, Waylon. And we finally found a guy who follows the channel who was willing to take a chance on Santoro. We were able to work out a deal. It was not going to be a cash transaction. It was a trade transaction where we got two mature cows who had already dropped calves, and we traded Santoro a 1 for 4. So we got 4, both mamas and both babies, for Santoro. As of right now, I do speak to the gentleman very regularly, and Santoro's doing wonderful. He's doing amazing. He has his own cows that he's running with now, and I'm certain that by next year, we'll start seeing pictures of some of those calves that were born to Santoro. But we don't have to wait until next year, because already many of you guys have already seen a calf born from Santoro, which was born by Annabelle back over at Jake's place. And Jake is the one, remember, he had kept Santoro for a while. And so Santoro does have a son. I don't know for sure what Jake has named him. I did have a suggestion. My suggestion was you take Santoro combined with Annabelle, and you call the bull Santabelle. Santabelle. Santabelle? Okay, so no one likes my name choice. but it is what it is. So I've only okay. So I hope that I've answered your questions about Santoro. For the lady who said, "How come we never see pictures of Santoro?" That's because people were so mean to the cowboy when he came to get him. We made a video of the fella pulling in and loading up Santoro, unloading his heifers or his cows. And in that video, the rancher, who's a little bit older fella, he took and he swatted Santoro on his behind to get him to go into the trailer. And there was so much negative reaction to that, so much negative reaction to that the fellow watched the video, y'all, and he read the comments, and you tore him apart. And I apologized to him, and I just reminded him that the internet is kind of mean sometimes, and I also told him that it's not you guys being mean. It's just that you've never seen our animal. We really do baby our animals around quite a bit. So that is the reason why he's been very reluctant to send us anything, because his fear, and this, listen, he and I had some pretty powerful discussions. He was actually mad that I painted him in a bad light from my video, and that was not my intention. That was not my intention. But it was a lot of people made him out to be just quite the horrible, horrible man for swatting a bull on his hind end. And I was like, buddy, I'm so sorry. But that's what happens on the internet sometimes. And so he knows. So it's probably unlikely that he's going to listen. Not everyone walks around with their camera anyway. I do, because that's my job. But I will say this. Santoro's not going to be hurt by swatting him on his hiney, y'all. He did not hurt that bull by swatting him on his hiney. As a matter of fact, we swat our animals on their hineys quite a bit to make them move around. We may not show it, but every animal gets swatted on occasion, y'all. So anyway, yes, they do it all the time at the stockyards. We're not stockyards. We do want our animals to be happy, and we like to move them using feeds. If we can move them an easier way than having to swat them around or shoo them and scare them. But oh boy, Laura says, "Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with a little booty slap every now and then." Laura, where are you going with that, huh? Where are you going with that, Laura? So Laura likes booty slaps every now and then. Well, she says there's nothing wrong with it. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to ignore that. I'm going to move on. Listen, what I'm going to actually do is go ahead and get off of here. I have read just about everything. There was one that I was not going to read because I don't know how you're going to take this. Yeah. So I love your big rooster. I love your big rooster. And then, yeah, a lot of people are talking about booty slaps now. Booty slaps equal love. And there's a lot of people, women especially, who can get very offended if your man passes you by in the kitchen and doesn't pop you on the behind. I don't know, y'all. That's to each his own. I personally am okay with that. But anyway, this person says, "I want you to know that I'm talking about Rocky, obviously." So Rocky is the rooster she's talking about. Nothing else. But anyway, friends, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here now. I am going to head over to the J&L. If you want to jump back on in an hour, maybe less, to see what's going on over at the other property, then we'll absolutely do that. But just because you watch this live today does not mean you can skip the afternoon videos coming out on YouTube, because one of them shows a lot of Rita being naughty. And the other one shows, I forgot what it shows, but 2 videos at 3 and 4 o'clock on YouTube. Thank y'all for watching. Thanks for all of your comments and for being so kind here. You just so darn good to me. And can you believe it? Listen, with over 5,000 people watching, there's only one mean face today. Only one mean face. Can y'all tell what's happening over here? The culture of the channel truly is beginning to evolve into a happier place. I hope you feel the same way. I don't know for a fact what goes on in every single comment, but what I don't think I've seen today, I don't think I have. I don't think I've seen a whole ton of bye Felicias. So could y'all agree that it feels like we're bringing some joy back into the channel, maybe? A lot of people agree that it was a happier life today. That's so good, y'all. That's so good. That's what we wanted to do. And so some people may call that tough love by having to ban somebody. And what hurts me the most is whenever I have to ban somebody and then they email a little bit later upset that they got banned because they were only expressing their opinion. And like I've said it 100 times, y'all, I don't ban you from your opinions. I ban you from arguing. I ban the people who instigate arguments. That's all. We're trying to. You can have an opinion, absolutely, Lester. I don't like the way you leave Sadie at the property by herself. That is your opinion, and so I will be more than happy to read your opinion and think about it, evaluate my thoughts on it, and then we make a decision. Lester, I don't like the way you dress Jamie's geese. They look ridiculous. I'll read your opinion. I don't think you're trying to fight. You're not trying to pick an argument. You just don't like, you have an opinion. And we need to be able to learn to express our opinions. But we can't have anyone who's inciting or when they go back and forth trying to fight. And I have blocked people who've been attacking me or my family. And I've also blocked people who are fighting, you might say fighting for me, but I see the hostilities and the anger. So don't think because somebody is supporting me, if you're still fighting, you're still fighting. Fighting is fighting. It doesn't matter what side you're on. So that's why I say don't fight. Don't put yourself into that class of people who's going to just go out there and scrap yard dog it with people in a comment because you're never going to change their mind anyway. If you think it's something that's disrespectful and hurtful and mean, then just type in "bye Felicia" to their comment, and then I'll evaluate it later and see what the context of it was. I hope that makes sense to you. All right, I really will let you go now. I love you so much. I'm blessed to have you, and we would not be anywhere where we're at today with all of the beautiful animals and the grass and the pastures and all the amazing things that we've been able to do without you loving us and supporting us and being so darn kind and so forgiving and so accepting. And please never forget that. That's Lester talking. That's this guy telling you how much I love and appreciate you. And I give you 100% credit for helping take me out of that dark and scary hole where you found me and putting me now in a place where I'm hoping to be able to spread some laughter and joy and giving the animals at least a better life from where they came. So, all right, friends, I really will let you go now. Thank you so much. We love you, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. Oh,